Welcome back. Our first guest joining us, Mark Bertoli from Abbott Wealth Management. I haven't seen you in a while, Mark, so welcome to the show.
Been busy.
Yes, traveling and busy as always. We really appreciate you coming on today. We're talking about business succession and planning for business succession.
Right.
This is a topic, I think, as we were just saying right before the segment, that a lot of people may start thinking about later on down the line, but not as early as maybe they should be thinking about it.
And I'm going to coin this unconscious, uneducated.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that come to play when you're transitioning a business.
Right.
So we started a study with IPC Private Wealth in Toronto, which specializes in business and high net worth families across Canada. We interviewed over Environics, did the interview and compiled the data, but over 300 people within the industry and business owners across Canada. And what we found was quite startling.
Okay, well, I know you want to share some of those findings with us. And we have some slides, too, that we can provide for people as well.
Let's bring up maybe the second slide.
Yeah,
and this one was quite shocking. 42% of the business owners were uncertain about their retirement, and 48, just about half, don't plan on seeking guidance from an advisor.
Really?
So you own a business, you don't know what your retirement looks like, you don't know what the value of your business is, or you may be planning to give it to your children or something like that, and you really haven't done the planning to see whether that business is going to give you enough income for retirement.
Right.
So later on,
you need that guidance.
You do, and there's some and also, why not tap into the experience of someone who's been through this multiple times to give you guidance?
Right, because there's some things I would assume, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a business owner, but that you may not think about.
Right.
That someone like yourself or your team could help
We're
with.
gonna briefly touch on this today.
Yes.
So the next slide was rather interesting as well. So these are assets of over $1 million in business. These businesses are typically companies of under 50 employees. 23% plan to continue running the business until they're too sick to do so. Wow. So, and then 29% will exit when their successor is ready to run the business. So there's a couple of dynamics there. First of all, are you going to maximize your business if you're in a health situation and you're forced to sell it, maximize the value for your family and your retirement? Okay, so that's pretty dynamic, and you need to plan for that. The second part, of course, is they don't plan until their successor is ready. And what we're finding is that people are not identifying their successor, and the values and goals and vision of the company going forward may not be in alignment.
Right.
So there are some very specific things to do. The amount of wealth that is going to be transferred from the baby boomers selling their businesses to the next generation of business owners, or in some cases their heirs, that amount of wealth transfer coming up in Canada is something we've never seen in history before. So I think it's important we do this right.
So this is unique. This is a unique situation
It
that we're
is, yeah. So the next slide is some tips for planning. So number one, start early.
Yes, there you go.
We have that conversation with business owners up to 10 years in advance of their succession planning or the sale. We call it a liquidity event. And we start planning for that. You know, and there's an old saying, when you're standing in Seattle, the difference between this and this is whether you end up in New York or Florida, right? So step back, 10 years out, start your planning and design the sale of your business. In some cases, it may be giving it to the next generation of your own family. Or selling it to them.
But it's never, that's not too early to start, so.
Right, and what we do is we facilitate family meetings, and to the shock of the parents, the kids may not want anything to do with the business.
About that. Yeah, a lot of the time they don't.
You know, 10 years out, if you start having that conversation, you can find out and go, oh, okay, I do have to take a different path. So the other side of that is if the kids are interested in the business, we can put together a plan that gets us down that road towards a common goal for the future vision of the business, the work ethic that's required, and start integrating the children into the business to ensure its success as well.
Okay, we only have about a minute left, Mark.
Get a plan. We just talked about that. Put systems in place.
There we go.
Okay. Putting systems in place means that you need to maximize the value of your company.
Yeah.
If your company can run independent of you and someone else can buy it as a turnkey operation, that's how you're going to maximize the value. So
Right.
through business coaching or other forms, designing your company to do well. Ask around who's done this before and what advice can you get from someone who has sold their business.
Yeah.
And then the last point I want to make is bring a financial advisor on board. We've worked with the accountants, we've worked with the lawyers, we're able to help arrange financing for prospective buyers, we're able to facilitate the family meeting to ensure that the next generation even wants it.
Right.
There's the ability to do tax planning around the transfer of the wealth and so on that needs to be done, and also to help the selling person ensure that they have enough for their retirement so they can continue their lifestyle. So there is a lot of intricacies here. It's
not as easy as you think.
It's a huge piece of wealth that's being transferred.
Yeah.
It's a very good idea to take the time, do the planning, find out who somebody who's experienced in these sort of things to maximize your retirement and the value you get for your business.
So seek that advice, that expert advice. Info at abbottwealth.com is where you can find more information. Of course, get a hold of Mark or someone on his team and they'll help you out. We'll be right back on Midday. Stay with us.